Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Precious Metal Summit Zurich virtual with Commodity TV. And we want to talk now to Granada Gold. And Frank Basa, the CEO, is here with us. Hey, good morning. How are you doing?
Well, good morning, sir. Always a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure to see you, Frank. Long time no see. This Corona kills us all in the personal contact. Hopefully next year things go a little bit more smooth. But anyhow, we have the chance to talk about your beautiful company. You have a large open pit and you want to bring that probably into production. So what were the recent developments, let's say in the last 6 to 9 months, which really pushed your development forward?
Well, we kind of, I don't know if you're aware, everybody's aware, but maybe I'll tell a little bit of the history of the company. Originally, our investor was actually from Switzerland, and they made a fair amount of money on Cisco. And because we were next door to Cisco, they thought, well, we'll make another lot of money. And they said, look, can we have a low-grade open pit deposit? I said, sure. So we gave them, we did about 90,000 meters of drilling. We gave them 2.6 million ounces at 1 gram. And then we did a PEA, but because of the nature of the ore body, the mine was high grade historically. It's hard to take a high grade mine and make it into a low grade mine. So it's kind of going the wrong way. But, we came up with a nice resource. And then, we looked at it and we said, you know what, we'll take the drilling and we'll really design the mine as it should be. So we took the drill results. And so we went from like a 2.6 to 1.6 constraint resource. In other words, we put a pit in, and then we said, okay, let's take the grade higher, which makes it a lower cash cost operating mine, plus also capital costs. So we took it to about 700,000 ounces now. So the 700,000 ounces is about 2 grams open pittable. There's about 400,000 ounces. We're going to try to take that to 500,000. And the underground now is at 4 grams, which we didn't have the underground before, but we feel those are quite conservative numbers. In the past, they did mine this open pit at 3.5 to 5 grams, and they did the underground at 10 grams. So we took a very conservative approach. We left a lot of gold in the ground, lower grade, and hopefully, should we build a mill on the property, this is what we're looking right now. We just completed on that 30,000 meters of drilling. We're doing what we call infill drilling, which is actually drilling at depth. We never did that before. Majority of the 120,000 meters were all shallow drilling, and we drilled it very tight. So we're very conservative on those numbers. So the long-term objective, we're trying to take the resource to about 2.2 million ounces. Majority of it be underground, and open pit 2 grams, maybe 500,000 ounces. Underground will be the rest, which would be probably 1.5, 1.7 million ounces of 4 gram. So we're on a padlock break. Anybody who's ever had a property on the break always gets a multi-million ounce deposit. We've had it, we've changed it, we hopefully get it again.
Super. Yeah, and I saw also in your presentation, underexplored beyond the pit resource. So this is probably one of the big sweet spots you have, right?
Yeah. Well, we didn't drill anything at depth. And actually, in this 30,000 meters of drilling, we did a few deep holes. And what happened is we hit a lot of rare earths and alkaline metals, which was kind of surprising to us. It's sitting right in the gold zone. The grades are low, but the quantity is massive. And so some of our investors asked, well, Frank, can you give us a dollar figure? I said, we can't do that, but I can show you what it's worth in the open market. So the rare earths, even though they're low grade, because of the huge quantity, are worth more than the gold that we might have at 2 million or 2.2 million ounces.
Okay, can we talk about the rare earths in a second? Because I don't want to jump back and forth with that. I saw also that you have done a pre-concentration testing, and you were like 251% higher than the 0.33 grams gold assay grade, and you had a test sample with a 47% gold recovery. So can I assume that you are working on, let's say, also to improve the gold recovery on the one hand? On the other hand, what does it mean that you are now at 251% higher concentrate for the future?
Okay, well, what happened is we have a lot of low grade, and the low grade is actually 0.33 grams a ton. So I've been working with this group in Australia called Gecko. They've been building these plants that can take low grade material and they upgrade it. So you can take 0.33 and you can take it over 1 gram, about 1.4, 1.5 grams a ton. So basically, we take waste pile, give it to the Australians. They have a thing called inline pressure jig. It's Gecko. They've been all over the world for about 30 years or more. and they can take a lower grade material and make ore out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We've never looked at that before in detail, but it appears we can do that with our ore because about 50% of our ore is native gold. So because of the native gold component, it's easy to concentrate. So from the waste, we can recover about 50% of the gold above 1 gram, which again puts us in a different categories. We've never looked at that with any intensity, but I think we'll do that as we go forward with our drill program.
Mm-hmm. What do you have to invest in? What do you have to set up to do that then with the
It's
concentrate?
still early stage. Right now, we're just looking for the conventional mill on site. Right now, we might be doing only about 50,000 ounces a year until we kind of pass 1 million ounces. It's kind of hard to justify, 100,000 ounces or only 1 million ounces. So I think we can do 50,000. We're looking at scaling it up. If we hit the 2 million, I think we'll hit it with a drill program. Things because of COVID are a little slow. We work okay. We've never had an office. We've always worked virtual, but out in the field between the drillers and the labs and all that, they fell really behind. And what's happening is they also have a difficulty getting people to work. There's not enough of people. If they're willing to work, but we don't have enough of people to look after the program in Quebec. In Ontario, we're running a different program here. Same thing, drilling, but we have no problems getting things done on time. But Quebec, it's kind of unique, and we're in an area where there's a lot of intensity in exploration, and we're all suffering in the same way.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Okay, yeah, that's right. Where do you see significant growth potential? Let's think a bit more longer term now. Where do you see the growth potential in your company?
I think once we come closer to 2 million ounces, the market will recognize it. So will there's 3 major players in our area. They're all running low on rock. Getting rock right now into their mills is kind of tough, even for the big boys. The Malartic mine used to operate about 60,000 tons a day. They're going down to 20,000 tons a day. So they'll be looking for feed. There's also IAMGOLD. They're running 1/3 capacity, so they're looking at feed. So the critical number, it appears, for a lot of these people is you have to have at least a minimum 1 million ounces, and then it's considered something of value. Of course, if you hit 2 million ounces, then of course you might get into a bidding war. That has happened in the past in Quebec. So, we're in a good area. We have a deposit. We've kind of already developed the resource. We're developing a higher grade resource. So I think once we hit these milestones of 2 million ounces, it might happen next year, depending how everything, it's basically right now COVID dependent, but it's progressing, we're doing still quite well. We're getting results.
Okay. Mm-hmm, super. Then let's come back to the rare earth discovery, as you touched already on that. Sometimes I have the feeling with rare earths, we saw that super hype, like a good, whatever was it, like 10, 12 years ago, when everybody went like a little bit bananas on rare earths, and we know rare earths are not rare really. I think the trigger point is really to get the rare earth metal separated and out of the rock, that you really get a product. So, I mean, this is nice to see and nice to have what you have shown here. Have you done already some tests that this has real economic value for you?
Well, it's funny. I called everywhere to get pricing, and you go on the internet and all this. And I finally talked to somebody in China, and at least they were honest with me. But he says, Frank, you know what? You can have the best rare earth deposit, but if you don't have a buyer, you don't have a deposit. I said, well, thank you very much. So I told him, I said, it's just like what you said, rare earths are not that rare. They're everywhere. Ours are a very large quantity, very low grade. They're recoverable, but I don't have a buyer. The only thing right now, apparently because I have rubidium. Rubidium is not a rare earth. It's an alkaline metal. It also happens to be one of the larger, greater things in our metals in our potential mineralized zone. So we're doing a bit of work right now on that at SGS. And apparently rubidium is used in what they call sodium-ion batteries. A sodium-ion battery cannot be put in an EV, electric vehicle, but it can be used as storage. So what they do is they use these batteries, they charge them up at night because the power rates are cheaper at night. Then they feed the power back in the morning of course, at a better rate. So we're working on that. SGS has been working on it for a while. So what we're doing right now is we're trying to remove the iron, because iron is a consumable of our reagents, and we're trying to lower the silica. And then If we can do that successfully, then we'll only try to recover the rubidium, and it's only targeted for what we call a sodium ion batteries. And people start talking about that, like they start talking about lithium ion batteries. But apparently, a sodium ion battery doesn't need to have rubidium. But if it has rubidium, it really increases the value and quality of the battery.
Okay,
So
interesting. So this is something like for the future, I would say.
Yeah,
right?
And apparently we have a lot of this stuff. So it's a waste pile. Originally, we were going to throw it away as aggregate. After we found that, we said, oh, well, there's more value than actually the rubidium, just the rubidium itself has a greater value than the gold in the ground that we have, even at 2 million ounces.
But you need the buyer.
We have a buyer.
That's really interesting. Fantastic. So a lot of potential in all of your projects and what you are doing there. A key question is, of course, what is cash in the bank? Do you have the money for next year to fulfill your work programs?
Well, we have about 2 million what we call marketable securities, which we'd rather not sell because they're down as everything else in the market for the juniors. We have $250,000 in the bank, and $250,000. Even the way we run, we're really light. Like I said, we don't have an office and nobody has a chair or a desk or whatever. Virtual. We'll need some more money. We might raise some later this year, early next year. Our stock has been particularly depressed. We did a lot of changes and a lot of people didn't understand what we're doing. So we're kind of educating our investors, and I'm hoping to be back on the road. We're quite successful when we're on the road. So if you know what a V50 company is, we've been there twice already. But we seem to work better on the personal level. We've tried these things with Blue Jeans, Zoom, and all this. But where we do the best is actually after the conferences. We go for a coffee or dinner or lunch or something like that. And this is where we can connect with our investors, and we've done quite well. So hopefully, like you said, COVID, we'll learn to live with it. I haven't traveled. I haven't been in a plane for about 2 years now, but I've traveled by car, by vehicle, still fossil fuel, and by hand. I still drive mine by hand. I don't have a Tesla yet, but I like traveling. I like meeting the people, and of course, meeting you is always a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Last question: what is management's share in the company? Maybe who are some institutional investors, large investors you have in?
Well, our biggest investor is actually my family. We have about 18%. We believe in what we do. We buy our shares. We do private placements. We're what we call block buyers. We've always supported. And then, of course, we have our other people directors. So around 32% is corporate. And then, of course, we have a few very loyal shareholders who's done also quite well. Like I said, we originally took this company from a halted company. 18 months later, it was 121 million market cap. Everybody made a lot of money. I didn't sell. So market crashed. So, hopefully I'm a little wiser this time. But the other thing we're trying to do here is, we're pretty good at giving dividends. So there's a 3% NSR dividend if you're a shareholder, if we go in production. So you can get it paid in gold, which is actually easier to deliver to people if they have a metal account or currency of choice. But 3% of, let's say, 1 million ounces, that can be given to the shareholders depending on the portion of the company they own. So
that's a nice idea.
Yeah, we've done that. We've done these crazy dividends before with the blessing of the exchange, and has shareholders like that.
Super, perfect. Thank you very much for the update and insight into your company. Wish you all the best. Also success for the conference, and hopefully we can travel soon.
And also have a wonderful Christmas. And a good
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas also to you. Thanks, Frank. Thank you very much. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it was Frank Basa of Granada Gold, and he is the CEO, of course, of the company. Also, he and his family are the largest shareholders with 18%, and also directors and corporate people bring that up to well over 30%. Interesting company, nice open pit chance here for a great gold production, plus a lot of rare earth potential for the future. So I would suggest you check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Switzerland.